Professor Dr. Nisha Pandey, the Director of GIDR, Professor AHMEDABAD, Professor Rudra, other professors, the colleagues, the students, online and offline. Good morning to one and all. Let me first thank the Director GIDR for giving this opportunity to be here in this today beautiful morning in the beautiful campus of GIDR, and Dr. Rudra for pursuing me and bringing me here. In fact, it was my love with the GIDR to be always with, as Professor Kalamkar has made a mention about. There is a long relation between the ARC and GIDR. Since then, with the planning of Narmada, later by the Agriculture Commissioner was also being there. Professor Pathak was chairing that chair in the Crisis Commission, and later it was the CDAP, which we know, the District Agriculture Plan, and so on. So many such kind of work has been put forth together by the stalwarts with the GIDR and the AERs. I am with love of GR because of having my association with earlier some of the colleagues. Not directly been involved in terms of a research project, but academic interaction at various forums. Also, GIDR is close to the IGIDR. I work with the IGIDR while preparing the Maharashtra State Development Report for the Planning Commission those days when I was very young in working with the Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics students. So somehow relation is there with the GIDR. And I'm really thankful to the director and all of you for giving me and considering me to be a part of this invited lecture series, where the people are being called to talk about the issue of national concern. And also I feel very proud to be here this morning, and it was my lookout that there should be some academic journey among the people of the same minded, so that we can contribute in the policy making. And was regret that there was some kind of arranging the dates here and there because of getting clashes of the meeting dates. But finally, I am here today with you to share some of my thought on the issue of national concern today. We are presently working on the areas of agriculture marketing. We have been keeping working on these issues, but market information has been coming up again and again because of the prices which have been realized by the farmers, and government has been thinking a lot in order to intervene and make some kind of alteration in the policy paper or some kind of addition to the present network, so that farmers are going to reap the advantage of good prices or reasonable prices for their produce. The ARC, Vallabh Vidyanagar, covering the state of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, have been covering such issue for a long period of time, and this is not a new for us, but we are looking for in terms of changing in the focus of the government of India. As Madam and we were discussing about the innovation in the policy, the government has changed the policy framework from the production oriented to the marketing oriented. Now, but having changed the policy, whether this has reached to the farmers or not, and how best we can reach to the farmers in terms of making them available the good prices, I thought let us put forth all the things together. And I have been seeing many debates on the new channels about the MSP, many new channels talking about the market interventions and the marketing reforms, but having not been based on how central government has been coming forward in order to make this agriculture marketing more national oriented rather than having the location specific, as well as to make them to get the good prices for the produce, so that they can reap the good income. That is what the Honorable Prime Minister has made a nation call about the doubling of the farmers' income. So really the price discovery, which we have been discussing about many times, would really happen if it is going to be on a national scale. So if you permit, I can stand and then that would become more this to change? Happy on this side? Yes. So I have just put forth my thought in a plan of presentation where I am going to talk about the policy, food policy and food parastatals in India, where we looked at how it has been happening in around the Asia, because the country like India having 1.4 billion population, and to feed the nation, so that a country like India, which is now populous in the world, need to have a focus on to get produce the enough food grains, the oil and the cloth and everything required for the population. No, first one. So let us see how it is happening. Asia has been having the largest number of the people, and that will be the poor category. So let us see what is happening in the other part of Asia, how parastatals has been happening, what are the intervention government has been doing, and what impact of the MSP is there on the income of the farmers, what issue prevails, how information is there among the farmers regarding the awareness and sale of output, and how reforms will be come out, and what would be the next course of action which we think of to go ahead. Next, please. This is solely basis on the data which is available with the CSCB reports along with the Minister of Agriculture and the related websites which are there. Also the study which is in present on the role which are doing in the state of Gujarat. All the 8 agro-climatic zones we have selected. By doing the statistical random method, PPS method, we have selected some 800 farmers from all the base of there. Now we all are aware of that. We have been concerning by having a policy framework in order to create the food production and agriculture development since the independence. When the independence was been achieved, it was a very critical phase when we used to have a problem of enough availability of food grains, and therefore that time it was being talked about ship to mouth kind of status. 1960s has really put us on a toe where the United States of America has tried to detect the policy in order to take a control over the decision maker, because they were having some kind of support through providing the weight we know that PL480. So the policies which Government of India has adopted to make the country self-sufficient, and they had used many such kind of strategies which put forth to make us to realize from the chronic food shortage to the self-sufficient stage, and today we are one of the largest producer of the many commodities in the world. Next please. Many such intervention which has come through in the production, subsidy, markets, infrastructure, roads, inputs, and many such things has been happened during the last 7 decades. And it was very planned thing has been done, which has really changed the face of Indian agriculture on the map of the world. And today, therefore, we have been reaping the advantage of exporting some of the commodities to the developed nations. So, having started with the technology, the seed, fertilizer, and the irrigation, we followed by having a competitive market development, procurement of the fruit grains, open market sale, buffer stocks, and the PDS system is known to everyone, nutritional intervention and the trade policy. This was on one side. We have focused revolutions like green, the white, blue, yellow, golden, and many others, in which we have successfully been nurtured through having a huge production like wheat. White revolution, we are having 200 million tons of corn milk today, largest milk production in the world. Same the case with the food grains, same the case with the fish, same the case with the cotton and the other one. Somehow we could not get through the oilseed the revolution which was being started in 1985-86, maybe because of some few reasons over there. Now these 7 decades has really helped the economy to boost, improve the food security, and main goal which we have been in the business of reducing the poverty since the last 7 decades. Somehow we can reduce this poverty, but not in the full sense which we have been seeing. Eliminating the threat of the famines and the starvation was one of the great achievements which we could notice. Now, though we have been having the calamities of the natural things, but still we have an adequate amount of the quantum of the food grains available with us. So if in numbers, if I want to show you, there is a huge success in terms of the 2 commodities which put forth in the 4th 5-year plan by the adoption of the Green Revolution called rice and wheat, which is the super cereals, increase the production in the 6 to 7 times in terms of the rice. Wheat is the abnormal increase over there, which put forth 323 million tons of the food grains, which is really making us to struggle in order to how to store these food grains. Thanks to the policymakers and the farmers who has made us to be in a self-sufficient in this category. The pulses, which is the requirement of ours, is about 25 to 26 million tons. Recently, we are getting at the most level which as required. Earlier, we used to have 2 to 3 millions of the pulses being imported every year. We are deficit still having a 38 million tons of the oil seed. We are still deficit here. Every year, we are importing 60,000 crores of the oil seed to be fed to the nation, despite of this much production. Cotton, sugar cane, we are much ahead, and we are now reaping the advantage of increasing the production of fruits and vegetables. So this is the one of the niche market which is coming up. Next, please. So we are ranked first in pulses and milk, second in meat, rice, groundnut, sugar cane, and cotton, and fruit and vegetables, and third in terms of the total cereals, rapeseed, tea, and eggs. Though we rank first, equally we rank first in the population as well. So feeding the 1.5 billion mouth every day required the required quantity of all the available things. Therefore, the country like India has always need to think out how the farming will be the feasible, economical, and there should be the people who can work in the farming so that we can get adequate quantum of a required food grains, oilseeds, and other requirements of that. Well, having said this, there was one problem has started. The government has made many interventions, everything has been come to the production. Huge market and market surplus was coming to the markets. I hope everybody is aware of we had 7,246 markets available in India. After having a repealing of the APMC Act in Bihar, it comes down to 6,800 something. But though these markets were not adequate to handle this much of the marketable surplus. So this marketable surplus has not been able to handle by the markets were not performing this in efficient way. As they were not performing in the efficient way, the prices relieved by the farmers were not adequate as compared to the cost of production they have incurred. Because marketing is the link which provides the two sectors close together, the industry on one hand and farm sector on the other hand. Because all these things have been activity of been happening in the marketing area, as we know the APMR Act, that is called Agriculture Producing Marketing Regulation Act, which is known as the APMC as such, which need to be having increase the farmer income by providing all the resources, giving them reasonable prices, as well as providing them the facilities of grading, the packing, the weighing, and everything. However, everything which has been thought of, the marketing could not be developed in the same space which was thought of, and there was been a problem of losses, maybe the post harvest losses, there would be the less commission agent, and the prices deciding mechanism are also being criticized in many research papers if you go through. So the marketing has been thought of, production was given the main concentration. Now recently the government has thought of how we can go for having an efficient marketing system so that we can curtail or we can reduce the losses, we can try to get the price discovery, and we can try to have some kind of open sale through the various interventions which recently the government has done. So the linking with the distance and overseas market, this was the one of the thought of the present government also and earlier also. And changing the form and degree of government intervention, these are the two thought processes are going on at the policy level. How best we can make our market to be linked with the international as well as the markets in the India. Second, how we can minimize and change the form of the intervention. As Madam was saying that the innovation in policy, it has been thought process is going on in Delhi. Now we have to think out of the box so that we can try to get the output at a better prices to the farmers, as well as there should be the also cap on the prices paid by the consumers. For a long period of time, we have discussed about the farmer share in consumer rupee, which is not been nowadays over there because there are market functionaries have been increased and there has been value addition has been done at various places. Now what has come, how best we can try to meet the basic cost of production along with some profit margin to the farmers, and then we can link with directly by the processing or directly with the consumer asset. Therefore, many such models has come up in the country, which is very successful in the state of Karnataka and the Kerala, which has been adopted at the national level as such. Next, please. Now, the problem of heavy government intervention in the India is because we are always been having some kind of a problem of availability of the food grains or the required agricultural commodity in a desired quantum. And there has always been a fight between supply and demand, and therefore government has always provided support and intervened in order to make availability of food grains and making a buffer stock. So objective was price support to the farmer and making the buffer stock in order to make available this buffer stock to the people at the low prices, even to the previous system. And there has always been a problem of a policy, some kind of international trade. International trade policies have always been in a dilemma because as soon as the government feels that there is going to be shortage of something in that, they will put a ban on that, they will increase the tariff rate, or earlier they used to have a more bound tariff rates. Recently, the government has banned the rice and the onion to be traded to the outside country. But this kind of intervention generally put some kind of a loss on the regular transaction between the supplier and the buyer on the overseas market, which has a long-term effect. We won't see that as a researcher. But when we talk about with the traders, they make a mention about how they have been losing the business because of some this kind of policy, abrupt policy which has been put forward. Next, please. So it is now it is not that we have not done, we have done many things. I hope regulation of marketing practices is a long discussed phenomena in the Indian agricultural marketing system. And as I mentioned earlier, 7,236 markets are there before the GIDR closes with APMCs. And now we are having all the facility available over here. Infrastructure is there. And the cooperative organization have come closer in order to make support to the farmers. If you go to the Maharashtra, you will find those things. And they are also trying to provide the technology, technical know-how, the inputs to support to the farmers at their doorstep, to the credit cooperative societies. Because of this, there has been a changes that happened, but still the marketing is not able to yield a good result for the farmer as such. Next. So the plight of farmers still prevails. As everyone here and online who are there, they must be knowing agriculture is the state subject. So whatever the policy has been made with the agriculture is the state government has to adopt. But at the same time, central government intervene in terms of making a recommendation to make to the modification in the present law and the acts which are been prevailing there. So this is all support which central government is providing in order to make them kind of the same kind of marketing system across the different states of India, and there can be a pan-India marketing system which recently the government has enacted to the ENAM, so that there can be a transaction happens from the person who is in Kanyakumari to Jammu Kashmir or maybe in West Bengal to the Gujarat. Agriculture, though, has progressed a lot. We are surplus country, we are exporting that, we are ranking 1 and 2 positions, we are having a huge inputs available for agro processing. the condition of the farmers is still being at very doldrum. They are being affected with the low income problem, and there is been, if you know, the Situation Assessment Survey 2003, the first time has highlighted the 55% of the farmers wants to quit the activity if they are giving the alternative of that. And if you see 2011 census, where the first time the agriculture labor numbers have surpassed the number of the cultivators. This is the, I would say, the veil, alarming veil for India to understand why the people are leaving the agriculture. If there is no going to be work in the agriculture, how you are going to feed the 1.4 billions of people, and a country like India, though we claim that we are being progressing fast and very proud for that, and we are having a sixth largest country in terms of the GDP of $3 trillion in the world, and that trying to reach to the $5 trillion very soon. But at the same time, we should not forget the fact that we need the availability of the food grains in a required quantity so that a chaos can be avoided. And our agriculture is the gamble of monsoon still aid, because we have 50% of land rainfed as such, which are going to have a big problem if there is going to be 1 or 2 bad years to come. Already we have gone through the COVID, the setback. Fortunately, during COVID time, agriculture was performing well. The agriculture was close to the 4% rate of growth, which was thought for the 11 5-year plan, 12 5-year plan, but we never succeeded. But that time it has been really worked very well. So the income of farmers, doubling of the income of farmers, how it will happen? Having a 68.2% population in rural areas as per 2011 census, which may have come down to 65% now. If their income is not enough, how the economy will be boosted in the years to come? Because ultimately economy has to generate some kind of a demand for the produce which has been produced in the industry sector. And there is with the agriculture and the industry has to go hand in hand. If that won't happen, how the economy which we are looking forward to become a superpower will happen? Therefore, there are many interventions by the central government in order to make a very concrete and out-of-box thinking, in order to make the farmers to get more opportunities to sell their produce, to reap the advantage of price discovery. So there are some questions comes into the mind whether this policy framework intervention, how they are they effective? How market rates are really been above the MSP or they are been below the MSP? And how much share of the production generally government is being procuring, and what is the farmer's income at present? You will be knowing that when the doubling of farmers' income was been declared, we were not having a concrete picture of that time. Later the survey of the NSSO came, later the NAFIS survey of NABARD came, when we came to know that what is exactly the income of farmers. We estimated every year the gross domestic product and the per capita income for a long period of time, but we were not knowing the income of the people who are having almost 70% of the population to know about where they are standing their lifestyle. Next please. So let us now focus on the main theme, how this price intervention has been adopted in the most part of the Asia. Why Asia? Because these are all the developing countries where their main focus in order to secure the availability of the food for the large people at the low rate. Though the income of a cultivator mostly comes from the food production, therefore whatever the income generally they get, it is highly been fluctuated because of the problem of the fluctuating prices. Everybody has experienced 200 rupees kg tomato, now you will get a 10 rupees kg tomato is there. In whole this process, farmers is always been in the loser side. Is the problem of plenty is also the problem. Even though there is a scarcity, means there is a less production, still the farmers will not be able to reap that advantage of having the high prices, because there will be some kind of ban on the exports or something that kind of. Next please. So we are having a major focus now today, how the prices of the commodities can be get stable, and how this price insurance to the farmer through the system of minimum support price to increase their production and simultaneously keep the prices low for the consumer for food security reason. Let me tell you, the government of India declaring the 23 minimum support prices in the advances of their sowing season, we can promise that if there is going to the glut in the market, we will come into the picture and procure that produce. That was been the phenomenon beside the minimum support price adopted in 1965-66 in order to make the farmers to adopt the new technology, adopt the new techniques, get the more area under this crops, and government will go to the market and procure their produce at these prices. So this was the guarantee that time given. But this framework, which was being framed in 1965-66, over the period of time we got a huge production. So government need not to get into the market because market started working on their own, and the processing sector, industries, and other people have come into the picture to withdraw this kind of excessive produce from the market. But this is not market happening in real sense in support of the farmers. Rather, it has been working in support of the industry and the processing sector or the middleman as such. So there is a huge, large number of the people who generally reap the advantage of price markup. The farmer spends 3 months for the production of one commodity, he won't get the cost of production. But within a day time, from morning to evening, the prices of a produce markup is more than 300%. So the 10 rupees the produce in the APMC market, by the time you reach to your house, it reaches to 30 rupees, 40 rupees, 50 rupees. So that's the thing which needs to be break up. Therefore, there are some intervention government has already came to. Next, please. The countries like India, Indonesia, Philippines, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Vietnam, everyone has gone through this phase of intervention for the years together. They have intervention in terms of the import, in export, even the movement or restriction of the food grains. Even India, there was a restriction of movement from one place to another also. Credit concession was being provided today also. The government has put 18 lakhs 50,000 crores of the rupees as a credit flow for the agriculture credit in this budget. This is the highest ever since the government has allotted the money, and they want to make this credit available at an interest subvention rate, like 7% rate of interest is charged. Government will be subventing at 3% at the central government and 4% at the state government if it is being paid in the due course of time. So government, central government on this their own has made an intervention to providing the 18 lakhs 50,000 crores of rupees to be provided to the crop loan, the KCCs, the KCC to animal husbandry, medical loan, and the long term loan. This is the higher interest. And also the preferential access is being given by these countries over the period of time. Next, please. Now, what is happening in India, as already we have talked about the practical practices which has been highlighted, and mostly the things which have been going around the wheat and paddy. And you know about the protest by the people on the borders of the New Delhi, and many people were discussing on news channel why the people in Punjab and Haryana are only protesting, why other countries is not supporting, and many things. And I have seen the lacuna of people's understanding about MSP, about the government procurement, about the production system, and the concentration of wheat and paddy in the total food basket of the India, and why this policy, people are looking in different ways. So let me show you some of the figures and the graphs which will make you to understand how government has been procuring at the minimum support prices and how much they have been procuring. I hope you must be knowing about the market intervention scheme. This is the scheme of the government of India again. If there is going to be glut of the particular commodity in the market, state government will approach to the central government, and government will come to the market and procure that produce at the MSP or above the MSP. And they will dispose that produce to somewhere else, or they may be do something. Only the major focus is to support the farmers in terms of the falling the prices in the market. So price support scheme is the procurement for making the buffer stock or the PDS and other things. Market intervention scheme is to provide the support of the farmer if there is a glut in the market. Next. These are the states: Food Grains Price Committee, Inquiry Committee, Pulse Prices Committee, 64 Committee. These are the milestones in terms of the policy making of the prices policy of the government of India. Later comes the Food Corporation of India and Agriculture Prices Commission in 1965, which later was renamed as the Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. So these are the milestone which has put forth our agriculture price policy in India for the last 6 to 7 decades. And the minimum support price is now the major handle has been announced by the Government of India on the recommendation of the CSE. Next. Now let me share some of the thoughts which I have shared in the seminar conferences also, how generally this works. Now the minimum super price which is declared in the advance of the sowing season in Kharif and Rabi. So these prices are declared by the Government of India on the approval of the Cabinet on the recommendation of Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. And if you look at in normal terms, absolute terms, there is a huge increase within the last 10 years period. I am not drawing any kind of percentage change, just want to show you how the change has been happened. And major change has been happened in the tur, oilseeds, and the copra and other things. There is a huge, almost doubling changes happening. For example, the tur is now reached to more than 6,600, which was hardly having a $4,000 around prices. So the prices which are declared by the government, there is no doubt that they have been providing the huge indication, clear indication that government is in support of the farmers by providing them, by declaring the prices for the all 22 commodities, and one is a sugar cane which is required the statutory price. So 22 plus 1 is the 23 commodity prices are being declared by the government for every season. Next please. Now when prices are declared, government has their own authorities to go for the procurement in the states. I hope you know about the Food Corporation of India, Cotton Corporation of India, the Jute Corporation, Central Warehouse Officer Corporation, National Consumer Cooperative Federation, Cooperative Marketing Federation, Tobacco, State Oilseed Federation, and many other cooperative agencies in the state. These are basically the functionaries working in the area of a procurement on the behalf of the Government of India. Next. Now, whatever the price is being produced in India, almost 50% of rice has been trying to be get procured by the government. Please understand the support which central governments try to provide the farmer in order to make them to avail the renewable prices in the form of the MSP has been reaching to the almost quantum of 49%. In case of rice, it reached to 36%. Nutri-cereal we have been having this year as the international millets year, 2.32%. Pulses is almost 9%. Oilseed is 3%, and cotton is coming to the 1/4 of its total production. So government is trying to reach the maximum quantity of the production of super cereals, that is rice and wheat, which is required to make the buffer strong, obviously. Next. And if I share with you what are the states generally been reaping the better way of getting procured the commodities produced in the states, Punjab is 23% around, and followed by the Telangana and Haryana is there. So you put together is almost come to 30%. Telangana and Andhra Pradesh come to almost 25%. So these are the central provinces, coastal area which have been there, a higher production of the rice as such. Therefore, the procurement of rice would be happening here. Procurement of rice would be happening here. These are the area where the high productivity is there, low cost of production is there. Also, the procurement has been done in this area. Very good and good sign of seeing is that Odisha has been reaping the advantage nowadays. It is very good because Odisha has been struggling to have a high per capita income, and I am very happy to see after that the Odisha has been coming up, and also the Madhya Pradesh somehow, because Madhya Pradesh is not a major producer of the rice. Next, see that what happens about the wheat. The wheat, the major players are the Punjab and the Madhya Pradesh. Punjab, as we know, rice and wheat, the farming pattern has been done there. Almost 33% of the wheat is being procured from the Punjab and 33% from the Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is known for the very good quality of the soil to produce the wheat like CO and others. The government has been procuring almost 33%. The other states like UP, Haryana and the Rajasthan also been contributing. However, none of the other states have been figured out into the total procurement at the national level. Next please. Nutri-cereals, Karnataka is reaping. Karnataka having the North Karnataka where you will find the huge nutri-cereals production, and the borders of the Maharashtra are also there where the land is been having red paint kind of nature, where you get a good nutri-cereals. Madhya Pradesh is reaping, Maharashtra is coming out with the 12%, and the Haryana. Gujarat is having only 1.32% of the procurement of the nutri-cereals at the national basket. Next please. Now, how many farmers are benefited? This is Rabi and Kharif put separately. We have almost 12 crore of the farmers been registered in India. having a land holding size of 1.08. But most of the benefit has come there up to 2023 in this Kharif season. Rabi season has little bit less because Rabi season only produces the wheat. So main chunk of the production which has been procured by the government of India having a more beneficiary covered through this process of procurement in the Kharif season. This is also not less as compared to the number of farmers we used to see in those particular states. Next. If you ask me what is the state-wise the figures, most of the figures generally go into favor of the Punjab, Haryana, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. The crop as we have seen earlier. Chhattisgarh is coming in the Kharif season somehow, and West Bengal is also there. Odisha, as I said, coming together, but Gujarat we won't see any kind of a bar over there to be covered under this. Maybe the numbers are very less because these are in the crores farmers, number of crores farmers on the y-axis. Next, please. Now, why this is happening, procurement is happening, because there is a norms which has been prescribed by the cabinet in order to make some kind of availability of the buffer stock. Buffer stock is required for making the availability of food grains or the commodities on the unforeseen year. If there is going to be a problem coming through that, so we should not be in a turbulence. So we should avoid the turbulence by making our own arrangement of availability of wheat. So the norms which are for the rice is hardly, it comes to the 19 million tons and 32 million tons. And these are the norms which are prescribed by. So norms is 22 million tons and we are holding almost 60 million tons. You can understand the government's thought process. Though the norms is 20, the storage is 60. 3 times the higher we are holding the commodity, so that we should not face any kind of the issue if there is going to be any kind of natural calamities or COVID kind of situation, or there can be a war and whatnot. If anything happens abnormally, there should be a protection of the food grains availability, and we are having the huge the quantum of the storage. Of course, storage having the proper availability is a different topic of discussion. But the intention is very right in order to make a stock with us, and this also have a availability of the food grains at a cheaper price through the public distribution system. India has having the largest network of almost 5 lakhs of the public distribution ration shop in India, where the rice, wheat and other commodities are being given to the vulnerable section of the society at the cheaper rate. And government has extended the same facility of having a 35 kg of the food grains to the such household for next 1 more year because of the COVID and post-COVID activities. And of course, you must be knowing about the National Food Security Act, for which we need almost 60 million tons of the food grains as such available. So, for this, the government is coming to the picture and procuring that. Government has its own limitations because everybody says that I have been seeing many research papers come, government should procure this, government should make available this, government should have a road, government should go for storage, government should procure the eggs also, government should procure the milk also. It is not going to happen in that way. As Madam has said very correctly, unity policy has to become out of the box, which can be made available for a discussion of such forum so that it can be adopted. The area which we have seen last 5 decades has totally changed now. What are the policies where there, those policies has to be now looked into in a different angle, so that there could be the minimum intervention and maximum support in a different ways to the farmers or to the producer, whatever is there, whether it is a milk, whether it is fish, or whether it is the agriculture produce. Ultimately, end of the day, we start the day with the commodity from the agriculture and go to the bed with a cup of coffee. You can try to get any commodity from any other thing, but agriculture is going to be very crucial in a way that it is a perishable and semi-perishable in nature. It cannot be transferred for a long period of time. You cannot get the food from the Canada or the US or the other country for a long travel time if it is going to be there. Next, please. So what impact is there, whether these agencies are procuring, but there is always been a second thoughts in the literature. They say, why this much of money has been spent by the government? And of course, they have incurred the losses also. Because where the government go for the procurement, they have to have a whole agency to be paid for the procurement. And economic cost, the economic cost of the procurement is very high, and whatever been government receive from the sale through the PDS system is very low. So there is a huge gap between that. Of course, it is a support program as such, but they have to incur the losses by the central and the state governments. So there have been issues also been discussed. Minimum support price increase has contributed to having a huge buffer stock. And third thought was that because of high MSP, there is more inflation being seen in the society. These three thoughts are there. Keeping these three thoughts together, beside plight of the farmers is still being existing as such. Government, central government has making intervention to support the state government in order to take the farmers at the upper stage of the lower stage so that they can reap the advantage of the growth of the economy and try to be in a part of the growth by making a new innovation in the agriculture. But the income is the major obstacles, which is not allowing him to go for a new techniques, technology, instruments, or whatnot because of having less income as well as tiny small landholding. Next. These are the number of days market prices reported, and these are the number of days market prices were equal or above the MSP. It means that out of 151, only 12 days the MSP prices were really, remaining days the prices were below the MSP. Therefore, there is a one thought process is going on whether the MSP can make it illegal. There are many thought discussion made on the academic forum. The major problem will be seen in the rice and also the tur and the groundnut, where you see the differences between the MSP and market prices seems to be very high in Tamil Nadu, Chhattisgarh and Andhra. Same the case with the tur in the Madhya Pradesh and the Gujarat. Gujarat is the major producer of the tur, rather major consumption of the tur in the green and the dry terms also. Before getting into the market, they start eating, and in fact we get a tur whole year available for the consumption. But the prices, despite of having this much of demand in the market, the prices prevailing are not been showing that kind of trend. And if you see that 160 days the prices are lower than MSP. Next year. These are the kharif, but if you see the wheat, the cotton, the barley, they have no effect of that. They are really reaping the advantage. Cotton may be having a long life. Even the wheat is been cancelled for a long period of time, and the barley also. Gram again got into the problem in the state of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Next please. These are the NABARD survey which put forth that why the farmers are being getting problematic because of the market prices of the crop, and larger would be in the Maharashtra and the Haryana and the Telangana, which has faced the problem of low prices as compared to the prices previous in the other markets. Next please. So what issues are there? The issues are for fixing the cost of production when determination of the MSP. Second, whether price policy is not able to provide the reasonable prices for the farmers or not. Whether whatever the prices are market distorting, are they making some kind of support to the crop diversification, or either they have been having a subsidy burden or something, or are they becoming infeasible or unsustainable? This thought process is going on in academic level. I'm just laying out to the audience over here. They can pick up some points and try to have some kind of workshop to discuss this issue. There are the three more supports which government has been coming with. The price stabilization fund is being created. You must be knowing about earlier in the top, the tomato, onion and potato, the fund was created in order to safeguard the low prices previous that time. Price support scheme already we have discussed. Market insurance scheme was also been floated so that you can get the market. Price deficiency payment scheme was been implemented in Madhya Pradesh. So this scheme was been given difference between the price paid to the farmers and the MSP, and this burden was been taken by the state government. Very innovative idea was been taken together so that the farmers are being protected by having the prices lower than the MSP. So these are the intervention already been done by the center and other states in order to protect the farmers from the price losses. Next. But market information still prevails. What exactly we discussed about the price discovery is not really happening at present. We need to think that how best it can be done. And there are some kind of intervention recently done, which I will just highlight here. Next please. I'll skip this. Next please. This is an ongoing survey of ours in the Gujarat, having covered the 8 agro-climatic regions, 800 farmers. When we ask about the awareness of the MSP or a Tekana Bhav, the people are still not much aware. They are only the large and the very large farmers are recently been aware of this thing. Maybe the reason of that, tiny, small and large and small holding, maybe having a small produce, they really bother to go to the procurement center to sell the produce and they wait for the FAQ norms to get fulfilled and sell it there. And either maybe there are in the procurement center very far available. They are being transaction cost much higher than the selling at the domestic level. Next please. And if you we have asked them how many people have sold their produce, none of them others, only the groundnut. You must be knowing the groundnut procurement was done by the government of Gujarat here 2 years back in order to cover the losses of the farmers because of the huge market availability. Next. But the procurement agency is not available was the major reason cited by the most of the farmers in terms of not selling their produce in the market. Next please. So everything is there happening, people are selling their produce. Marketing reforms has been happening for years together since the 1960s. It came into the picture in 2012 when the central government has given the guidelines to the state government to go for adoption of the marketing reforms. They have provided a model act and they have given to all the state government. Now let us change this because we need to reach to the benefit to the farmers and all the state governments were given this guideline to do that. But whether this has happened, because we have a huge network of 22,000 of the rural hack markets, 2,339 visible markets and the other things. So as I said earlier, 7,236 total. Next please. And if you look at the recommendation, it was also made in the view that because the National Farmers Commission has made a recommendation that every market should be available to the 5 kilometer radius. But if you look at state-wise figure of the radius which has been there, it is in the hundreds of kilometers. So we don't have the markets available to the farmer to sell their produce at the minimum distance. If it is not at the minimum distance, he has to travel a lot, he has to get a transaction cost, he has to forgive his wages, he has to incur the losses on his food and other things, and same time he cannot get back his produce if the market prices are not suitable for him. So, therefore government has come into picture, no, we have 85% of the farmer which are small and marginal, let us have some kind of intervention in the market. Therefore the marketing reforms comes in the picture. Next. These were the guidelines being provided to all the state governments by the government of India in 2013. Unfortunately, despite of the heavy pressure from the central government, few states have adopted, some states have adopted partially, some states have adopted fully, some states did not do that. I hope you know about the Bihar. Bihar has totally expelled all the marketing and over there. So you won't find the APMC regulated market as such, which previously are available for the farmers. I don't know, some of the scholars have compared the marketing of the agricultural produce in Bihar and other states. I didn't came across such kind of any literature so far. Next please. You are well aware of the 3 laws and that recently been central government has put forth. This was the major intervention the central government wanted to do that, but due to the farmers' protest, these were being taken back. The first was like opening the market for it anywhere for the farmers. Second was like having a price insurance to contract farming and the processing contracting. Third was lifting the stock limit which has been prescribed by the essential commodity acts as such over there. So this has some kind of different repercussion had it been adopted. Of course, there is a large debate can be had on that. But motive was that in order to make the farmers to be going into the more contracting with the processing term, as well as making the whole India as an open market to sell at any time. I hope you must be knowing APMC Act won't allow the farmers to sell outside. Even though they are selling the outside, APMC people will go there and get the taxes or the required fees to be collected from them. This was been there. Now ENAM has become different. ENAM is there. 2016 the government has come out initial phase of covering 585 markets. Those are covered. Now we are having more than 1,361 markets covered, linked directly online through the mechanism of online transaction, electronic trading, and SFSC has been playing the major role in order to make this. Central government has provided 75 lakh rupees per agency support in order to have computers and required infrastructure to be supported to get the ENAM to be work out there. However, there are a few success stories, but teethering problem are still prevail there in terms of the national market. Next please. Income of the farmers is always been a policy debate, always been there. We will put what are the available resources are there. Next please. If you look at the distribution of the income from different sources from different national sample survey organization surveys, as I mentioned you earlier, National 2011 census says more laborers than the cultivators. Situation assessment survey says no, we are going to use the agriculture if you do the alternative way. Now, income from the agriculture has been lower than the income from the wages and salaries. So the 38% of the household sales comes from this and 40% comes from this. This is another alarming situation for the country like India, when you are going to reap more agricultural wages or the other wages than the districts. This will have some kind of repercussions from getting out of the people from the agriculture. I have no doubt that we could not do taking out the excessive manpower from the agriculture or rural sector. That is a different topic of discussion. The people who are working in the agriculture need to be there to conduct the agriculture in a more scientific way. And present youth are not interested to go back to the agriculture as such. As like if you go to the Maharashtra Konkan area, you will find most of the Nepalian and the Uttar Pradesh people have been working there as a labor. No local persons are available. Maybe the case of some part of Gujarat also. Next. So it comes to that 2018-19 situation under assessment survey of Government of India says the income of the household in a year is 1,22,000. Right? Next. And if you go to the NAFIS, it says the income which is come from the agriculture and the cultivation as compared to the non-agricultural households is lower than this. And major concept coming from the wages category here also and here also, almost close to each other, which is support the situation announcement survey which has been done earlier, followed by the national NABARD survey, which shows about with the contribution. Next. And this is the average annual income comes together, put together is 1,77,170. The richer is the Haryana, Punjab and the Kerala. And if you look at the state of Gujarat, it comes to the 1,42,000. This is the income per household. The India's per household per capita income as per the last budget is 1,94,000. Almost 2 lakh rupees per household, per person. This is per household. And every household has at least 4 to 5 people being there. Of course, working people maybe the 3 to 4. So if you compare the national average to this average, there is a huge disparity. And this disparity is widening. In 90s, rural and urban disparity ratio was 2.74. Now it must have gone to the 4, 1:4, which is again an alarm situation for us. We need to reduce this gap in order to make this large number of mass people in the stream of the growth of the nation. Next. And this is an NSOC survey which says about the average income of 10,000 rupees per month in a household. Means again it is 2,000 rupees per person per month, 25,000 rupees per person per year, as compared to the 2 lakhs rupees as a national figure of per capita income. So this is the labor force, the people who are working, which need to be get out of the low income trap to the high income growth, at least medium, by having some interventions. Next. But at the same time, there is no linear growth. Agriculture always been vulnerable in the nature. And if you see this map, it shows very clearly how vulnerable the agriculture is today also. Though we have 50% of land under the irrigation. In Gujarat, it may be 65% as such. Next. Climate change effect, already we are seeing, we are having the less number of the rainy days, high amount of the quantum of the raining happening. It is not beneficial for agriculture as such. It is rather, if you go to the Maharashtra, soybean crop is gone, jawar has gone, other crop has not been there, and they are going to face one more bad year this year. So, for changing the strategy, we need to go for a crop diversification. Why not? We need to go for monocropping to do multiple cropping, intercropping, mixed cropping, and try to see that what need to be the marketed, what is the demand for that should be produced. You should not market what you produce. So we need to go for a kind of advisory for farmers. Next, need to go for post-production activities. We are losing the huge quantum of post-harvest losses. Almost 30 to 35% in the fruits and vegetables, 10 to 15% in the cereals, fruits and rice. If we can stop that, and we can make a value addition, we can make upgrading, we can make the exports, and we can go for the linking the farmers group with the industry. I think that only is going to be supposed to make. As such, demand supply won't going to work for the supply of the farmers. Next. Yes, these are the two things which I will always put. The farmers producer organization, if it is going to be happening to work for the cause they have been established, this is the only way out where the farmers can have a huge bargaining power. The government has already put 10,000 FPOs, and we are already having more than, as per the not Indian data, it is 37,000 it says. But government has a different figures on that. But this is the one organization, if it works properly, as per the objective of that, can do the miracle. Can make the bargaining power to be in reach of the farmers to sell their produce. Even they can give the benefit of collectivization. And collectivization power of the farmer need to be utilized. Either they should go for the collective farming and collective marketing on their own, or either they can come to the farmers producer organization. So I feel the intervention which government has come through the FPO and collectivization of the farmers is going to be have a great ray of hope for us to make this intervention to happen, and farmers should take really in the sense which it is informed and support which has been provided. Next please. So I'll just sum up because already I have crossed the time of 1 hour. Crude losses has to be reduced. Next. You missed the one slide. No issue. So the major thought process which I have put forth for the Indian economists over here and online which have been listening to me, that how best we can think of the innovative policy interactions and the modification in order to make the farmers to realize the high prices for their produce, and whatever the government intervention have been there, they are in support of the producers and the consumers also. Always the government has to balance both the things. It is not only the one point. They have to see the consumer as well, because there should not be the high rate of inflation or commodity prices prevalent in the society. At the same time, they have to protect the interests of the farmers. So with this, I will stop here for question and answers. I hope I could make a justice of invitation which GIDR has made to me. But my intention always be in favor of my farmers, because they have been toiling for the years together and been making country to feel stable in terms of the availability, all the nutrients available to us. So I thank you farmers also, because they are the whom we must thank for their all the hard work and making us all the nutrients available. Thank you, and thank you to GIDR. I'll take the questions if anything is there.
So I request online participants also to ask their questions.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Some observations, and I think I agree with whatever you have presented, but the innovation in form of reducing cost of cultivation would help, and that's where I think system for rice intensification, wheat intensification has actually helped farmers. Intervention by the government, we have seen in Punjab and Haryana both, that intervention actually helps. There is a misallocation of resources, like farmers go in for digging more wells, extracting more water. So how far government intervention would actually solve the purpose is a question that I have in mind. The second is about the extension services. Extension services have never been we have never taken extension services seriously. So we have a model in place, but no villages are covered by the Gram Sevaks. And that's where I think the lacuna is, and if the agricultural research gets translated to the field, then farmers will be able to reduce the cost of cultivation. Was the original idea that we have never, actually we are never able to see it in the field. So that is the second thing. And when we say that the rates are declining, the income is declining, obviously when the income declines, the burden of that particular cultivation falls onto the women farmers. So, but then the agriculture extension never considers women farmers as farmers. So then what is your take on this? Are some of the points that I have. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we can take all the questions. Apart from so many issues and intervention and development, growth, whatever we have seen all together, whether government and agricultural research institute thinking about training of the farmers, number one, training in various ways, managing finance, and these are the depression there, the suicidal cases. So apart from training for the cultivation, government, maybe is there any policy that government is thinking about to make them happy, whatever they have, or maybe the training, upgradation of their skill, upgradation of technology, if government can provide for minimizing the cost or maximizing the production. And of course, government intervention in the pricing. These three things I would like to take your suggestion.
Amrita madam, ma'am, please ask. You want to tell something?
She can write in chat box.
Hello.
You are audible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? First of all, let me say sorry for being a little late, but I'm sure I not with much. It was a very, very useful presentation. Thank you for that. I just wanted to add a couple of questions in addition to what has been said just now. I'm trying to look at agriculture at this point in time from the other side of the story. And that story relates to the sustainability of basic resources. And that is now in the context of climate change, that is, I think we probably have no time for not thinking about that as the main starters for how farming is going to be rethink. And therefore, I would say that all our market-based farming, agriculture economy needs to be rethought about. I have done some work recently on that. I will not take time to do that, but I am just raising that as an issue, that this is an audience in which this idea of going taking a different phase of agriculture sector in the context of natural resources is an essential part. There is no other choice for us. Thank you.
You can address this key if anything is coming.
Yeah, thank you for the questions. Of course, agriculture is a big thing for it's coming. Okay. Now I start with Professor Janna Patak's questions. Reducing the cost of production. Of course, it has always been there because there are the agencies which are consistently working, and we too policymakers always make a mentions to the government that when any intervention is being thought of in terms of reducing the labor, like mechanization and others, or any other processing things, those costs should be come to the lower to the farmers. It should not be a high cost mechanical who will put the additional burden on the farmer, which is ultimately going to increase the cost of production. So we always make a mention about that. But India has a little bit of problematic issue of a tiny landholder. And I will mix this issue with the women in agriculture land also. Because we are working on a project called land titling. Land titling issue is been a very big in India. And as per our tradition, generation after generation, we generally distribute the land to the male, the boy, and it get divided. Though as per the census it says we have 1.08 hectare land per person in India available to the 12 crores of the farmers which we have. Land titling project which we have done, and we try to see that whether the land transfer was done from the one generation to another or not, or whether they are updated or not. But they are not updated. And my fear is that our land holding may be 0.7 or 0.8 hectare only. So cultivating this much of small pieces of land is always been not that much economical. Because everyone has the bullock cart, everyone has the sowing, everyone has the labor, everyone has the insecticide, fertilizer. Even suppose he needs 30 kg of urea, he has to purchase 50 kg of bag and he will pour that. So unless and until we go for a collectivization of that crop production, we are not going to reap advantage of, that is what we know, the law of averages or what is the scales. So reduction of cost of production has a lot of intervention and innovation has already been done and is available over there. Only usefulness of that on the tiny land holding becomes very critical. For example, if there are the four brothers are there, they have not been sitting together to cultivate sow the land at once. Everybody will have for a different people. And we see in other field every time. So cost of production is becoming more because of one, because they have to hire everything separately, number one. Number two, productivity of our level surveyor is got stagnated now. What was the chart was going on, now that has come to somewhere stagnation. More the productivity, less the cost of production. Same the case with wheat and rice. Though we talk about why the Punjab farmers and Haryana farmers are not diabetic, there are the issues comes, which I am going to talk about on the natural resources. Okay. Second, the government intervention in some of the resource allocation, we will take with that question only. Extension services. I think Gujarat has a very good successful model of Krushi Mehotsav which they have done to reach to the farmers at lower stage during the summer vacation in order to provide them the advisory on the various cases. In other states, I understand and I agree with that there is a problem of paralyzing the agriculture extension system as such there. However, If you talk about, as madam's question, if I put together training of farmers with that, India has the largest agriculture research and extension mechanism in the world. We have the ICR system. ICR system has a large number of Krishi Vigyan Kendras, large number of directors of many crops, large number of agriculture universities which are having a coverage, like Gujarat has a 4 agriculture universities, and we are sitting in the coverage of the Anand Agriculture University today. So they have their mechanisms to provide a training, and they have been providing. Besides this, there are the managed NAMs and so many organizations working. And now we got one more thing called Agri Clinic and Agri Business Center at ARC Vijayanagar, where we are going to train the people over there. So training has been happening there, and farmers is always look after for the new techniques and technology. Madam must be knowing, and the GIDR is knowing, that before getting the Monsanto bees get on the board in July 2002 by the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, it came to Gujarat in 1999 only. So farmers are much faster than the other agencies to capture the world of new technology. Rather nowadays YouTubes are available where they are having the desi technologies. If they want to control the aphids and gases, they are not going to spray as per the pressure. They will just put one long cloth into the kerosene, and 2 people will be carrying that cloth over the whole the field to get that aphids and gases get stick over there. So farmers himself is in the search of a knowledge, and new techniques always been there. Only it should be in an affordable way to him, so that he can reap the advantage. Of course, except Gujarat, I agree the extension system mechanism need to be much stronger. Income decline and the women farmers. India has a hypocrisy, I would say that word, with due respect to the system of ours which we follow, where women are not given their credit in a crop cultivation and neither in the animal husbandry. Rather, the animal husbandry, the women are more doing the work than the males. But our system gives the land holding on record in the name of the male. That makes many things not happening in favor of women in decision making, in terms of the saving, in terms of the spending. We have done a study on the cost of milk production in 8 states of India, and one question we have put there: who poured the milk in the dairy, who get the income from the dairy, and who spent that money received from the dairy. In most of the dairy which were connected with the milk union, they were having a control over the money. But non-dairy people, it was only the male who were controlling the money. So women farmers are very few as such on the record. As like a woman dairy on the record are really growing nowadays. But the contribution of women in agriculture is as equal as a male as such. Rather, before this fungicide and herbicides, whole the weeding process, the sowing and then after the harvesting activities were done by the women. So income deceleration is the issue of cost of milk production relation, which is not reaping amount of cost production through the sale of the produce. The problem of this, our demand and supply is not working in the way which we teach in the classroom. Where demand supply curve meets, there is the equilibrium price. It won't happen. There are the behind curtain forces which prevails in the market, which won't allow to go the prices up than exactly they should have been. While working for the Competition Commission of India, we have realized there is a curtail in the markets. So you have on the board 200 commission agents reported, but on the site of a sale there are only 5. So there are no that much of an auction happens in a more democratic way, I would say. Therefore, the intervention we have been suggesting in 2000, and later the ENAM came and FPO came, in order to break that oil surface on the water. Skill gap, technology, man, skill gap already prevails there in the society. We have done the skill gap project with AHMEDABAD, and there is a huge skill gap in the mechanization. Our problem is that we are always in the hurry to use the technology or intervention and leave them on their own. BT cotton was the same story. We have published our report in Times of India at that time, and I was sued by the person, your result, we are going to sue in the court. I said, you go to the court, we have data with us, we will check. What they have done that time, they have just given the BT cotton in the society, and farmers were not acquainted with the refuse rock to be grown, how to use the grab filling, how much distance should be there, whether what should be used insecticide, if there is going to be some kind of sucking pest, or whether should you stop using the earlier pattern of your pesticide or not. They were just left on the God's gracing. Same the case with the mechanization, same the case with the solar, same the case with many intervention is happening. So we propose that there should be the post-sale activity should be there, which can provide the farmers the advisory on the use of such mechanism, whatever the intervention you do. So I agree with you, skill gap is always been there because of this phenomenon. As Madam has mentioned about the agriculture sustainability, agriculture resource sustainability. Everybody is always been saying this also, and it has been true in the sense that the farmers in Punjab and Haryana, they have been getting a free electricity. This is the policy fatigue on the part of the political system. Natural resources, these are called as the commons. They are for everyone, and they should be used judiciously. If you read the Weather and Committee report, they are talked about very cleverly and blindly on the pricing of the water. Pricing of the water report of Vaidyanath is an eye-opener for everyone, which was not being adopted by all the states. Because water in the aquifer is a water for everyone. 85% of the water which we are using for the irrigation as such. But for using the irrigation, let me remove that tag that farmer is not using for himself. He is using for the society. So we need some kind of regulation on this also. I agree with the madam. Sustainability is meeting the needs of the present without disturbing the ability of the future generation to meet their own need. And water is going to be the crucial matter to be get what possibly in the near future. Because rainfall is so erratic nowadays, we don't know what is going to be happening. Soil is limited. We hardly have 2.4% of the soil for India to do everything. Out of you have all the cities been growing up very faster. You need for roads, you need for hospitals, you need for the schools, you need for the new companies to get soil, land is shrinking. Our land is 114 million hectares land is available for us and is net cultivable, which is mostly been degraded because of injudicious use of the fertilizer, injudicious use of the water. I agree with that. But farmers is not left out of any kind of concession to go beside fertilizer use. Like our Honorable Governor sir has now started the natural farming, the organic farming, the intervention over there. It will take time. This is a good intervention again on the part of the state. But they have to go on the phase-wise method so that they can reap the advantage of bettering the soil health in years to come. But who will control this? Government, state government, because this is a state subject. So water pricing should be taken seriously by everyone, by all the states, so that water can be used judiciously. Same the case with the electricity. Providing the power free of cost is going to be great burden on the exchequers. And that will be half the investment plan of the government. And we always teach the student how the saving and investment having the multiplier effect on the growth of the economy by having injecting at the different places. So I agree with this point also. It is degradation already been happened, but it is not only the sole farmers is responsible. It is all the people in the consumer also. Consumer needs to be ready to pay a premium prices for the organic produce. If you want organic, you need to be ready for a pay 10 rupees more. But if consumer is not ready to do that, farmers is helpless to do that. I am on the side of farmers always, though I am a consumer also, because I have to see. I have been seeing toiling for years together in the soil to get at least the cost of production for his produce which he is doing. Suppose he is spending 10,000 rupees, he should be get back of 10,000. Forget about the family labor. So my intention is not that I am not saying that this is right, but we need to see from the angle of farmers also why he is doing using more water, more fertilizer, because he don't see the stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. In a stage 2 would be the comfortable where I am going to get the optimum production, and stage 3 is going to be the uneconomical for me. He will go for utilizing the more fertilizer and more water by having a sense that then he is to the product. One thing which we have not discussed is the seed. We are unable to make an intervention good availability of good seed in the agriculture. Fruits and vegetables, where the private companies are being worked, we have seen. We don't have good seed in pulses, we don't have good seed in oilseed, we don't have good seed in now in the cereals also. So we need our agricultural mechanism, the ICS system to work on this, to provide good genetic available food or seed, so that losses would be less, productivity would be high. So there are few areas still we have to work, but in policy intervention, which I am trying to say, where the farmers get a direct burn, where he could see when he has to go and purchase in the market, he has to pay 3 rupees, and when he sells, he gets 10 rupees. So that's the issue out there. I was 15 days before I was in Coimbatore, and I have seen the farmers market. The government has made available the space over there and the facilities required for this, and they are having a system of a token every morning. 170 farmers are coming daily and selling their output directly to the consumers. Consumer are getting the prices 30% below the market, and the farmers is getting 30% higher the prices. But only thing that farmer has to invest the time to come and sell the produce, and the consumer has to come to that market only in the market, whatever it is. If this kind of farmers markets are going to be help us, I think that would be the one other alternative. See, everything cannot be done. If you have a huge produce and everyone has to withdraw small produce, then only there would be the less supply in the market, and somehow the market will stabilize with a higher level. So that is what the idea, to push before all the eminent scholars which are available online and offline to get discussed in the years to come. Because ultimately agriculture needs to survive. If agriculture survives, we will be there. Otherwise, importing the food grain from a country like India is not an easy task. That would be committing the suicide, as like farmer is committing the suicide every day. If any online text message is there, I can reply.
There are 2 prominent messages. There are a couple of messages. They are thanking you for your lecture. One question, not question, that observation is from AITC, Parampur University. They are saying that the farmers' distress is still an issue in spite of many useful policies, and still growing, and how policy makers are looking at it. And another person is saying that it is from CRRT. The background data is very useful, but specific policy suggestions to address these farmers' problems will be the challenge.
So that's true. Thanks for all everyone who are online taking out the time and attend this. The attempt was this only to make out the issue, as like a GIDR has its own heights in the policy making bodies and the good research. So I thought let's take this platform to put forth of everything, to think on how we can come out with the good policy framework in order to take the agriculture marketing issue from where it is today. I am working for the Ministry of Agriculture last more than 2 decades. And if you see my recent paper in EPW, last week only, it has been flagged out on agrarian crisis in the state of Maharashtra. Kalamkar and Kalamkar, if you see the article is available in the special invited article. We are trying to take a stock of all the resources available and where the farmers are really facing their problems. See, there cannot be a 1 or 2 policy implication as such, because I always give this example to the teachers. When we go to the doctor, doctor will give the injection, doctor will give the medicine, doctor will give the syrup, and he will tell you you should not have this and you should have this. Likewise, in agriculture also, we have to have multi-program activities to be taken together on the different levels, so that we can address the issue of agrarian distress. Agriculture is a livelihood for all of us. Same the case with the animal husbandry also. It is not only the producing for sale, producing for nation as such. It is making producing for nation as more than the producing for sale. So we need to think of, and consumer also need to think of, that we should be ready to pay for a good food, and there should be a direct linkage should be developed between the consumer and the producer, so that the markup which is get distributed between the lines, it should be totally come to the benefit of the consumer and the farmers. Likewise, I am going to my nearby dairy and procuring the milk directly. So we are getting a fresh milk, I am paying more. Money goes to the farmers, dairy only. Even though I procure the Amul, it is going to dairy. If I procure from the dairy, it is going to dairy. So I am doing that. We are trying to get directly with the farmers, the wheat, the other produce over there. So even though you pay a little bit higher, rather you make your investment in the producer's point of view. I know that everybody cannot be linked with the farmers as such, but we can have a farmers market there. Like you have in Gujarat University, there is an organic market is there. In Sadapati University, we are going to start a new organic market there. So we will be made available to the farmers with that. Consumer has to understand. I have consumers thought process weakness. I always find I am also consumer. They feel how much cheaper they will get. At the same time, they will try to criticize the farmers for high insecticide use, high fertilizer use, high water use. These two strategies cannot work together. If you want a good food, ready for premium, you go to cinema hall and procure 250 rupees of the popcorn. What valuation is there? Nothing. 10 रुपए का लेके आप घर पे भी बना सकते हो. So, if you want to be consume good food for your good health, rather than going to gym and having a Herbalife and others, pay for a premium for that. I will urge one more addition I would make in a policy that won't happen actually. Nobody will make this, but I would make this. We need to really for a good premium prices for a good food. Organic production is not going up because there is no consumer for that. So at one point of time you say नहीं हमें तो chemical free चाहिए, तो chemical free चाहिए तो premium cost pay करो. If you are not ready to pay a premium cost, how farmers has been promoted to adopt that farming? So there are the issues with both the parts. So I hope the time is come. Now the government has changed the shift from production to marketing, and now FPO and other things will come together to make some changes. Of course, it will take a time. Like INAM will also take a time to come to the real force. I don't know whether you are aware of that. National Cooperative Dairy Federation of India, they have a e-market of their own, and it has been working fantastically. All the production, all the requirement of a raw produce been sold across the unions of milk in India, and the buyers can come, register and procure the produce like butter or milk or ice cream directly from there also, or can supply the inputs there. That kind of market, I hope INAM will come. It will take a time. It will take a time, but it's a good intervention. FPO is a good intervention. Of course, if it is taken on the aim for which it has been established, there should not be loopholes which have been adopting that. But I want to see my farmers be happy. Anything?
So thank you, sir, for your wonderful lecture. I think on behalf of participants and on behalf of GIDR, we are grateful to you for your time, and we hope that in future also you join with us in our academic journey. I also express my gratitude to the participants who for 1.5 hours are with us. And before completing this event, we will have a small our remark of appreciation for speaker.
Yeah, thanks to the GIDR, the Director ma'am and Professor Rudra and Dr. Chandna Patak ma'am and all the colleagues and staff over here. Whatever I have said, it is my personal opinion. It is not to be related to my organization or the agency for which I am working. Solely I am very vocal in this term, but it is my personal thing which I put forth for your thought-provoking process to be done. Thank you.
Thank you.